Hi again then guys, and welcome to another speed build for Forza Horizon 4, this time for a requested vehicle, fairly often, in fact the Pagani Huayra, a car which you pretty much know what you're getting. It's going to be good, it's a Pagani, so all of their cars are good. However, a quick bit of advice, don't bother getting the Huayra BC if you're purely looking for a Huayra as your car, because this one's better. It's cheaper, it's just as fast, the only real difference is the cornering ability, and this one's still great anyway. So, as far as all Paganis go, technically the Zonda R is the ultimate one in the game. My personal one of choice is the Cinque. I think it's the best all round, the look, the sound, the handling, the speed. But if you do want a tune for the Huayra, then of course you've got one here. Now you can grab this tune from my storefront if you don't want to do it yourself. So just scroll down below the video, look in the description, and you can use the tags or use my gamer tag to find it in the storefront if you don't want to do it yourself, basically, or you could just copy this if you do. Now, as far as the benchmark, the top speed isn't the fastest thing out there, but it certainly isn't slow. 266, according to that, and of course we'll find out in a second how quick it can actually go. As far as the acceleration though, it's even more impressive than the speed. 1.8 to 60, 3.6 to 100 in particular is very, very healthy. As far as the upgrades go, of course increase the power as much as you can, drop the weight. I would of course recommend all-wheel drive as usual, and fit all of your racing parts, including of course tyres. Now, as far as the gearbox, as you can see, the final drive is pretty low on this one, 2.4. Then for the individual gears, they are very familiar to anyone who's used my tunes before. 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.18, 0.95 and 0.74. Then as far as the alignment with all-wheel drive in particular, you can have neutral camber and neutral toe because the all-wheel drive does all of the work for you as far as handling. We've got 4 degrees of caster, anti-roll on 35 and 25, springs on 105, 145 and the lowest ride height for the front and the back. The dampers are on 10, 13, 5 and 6. Aero doesn't apply for this one, and of course you have the active aero anyway. And for the diff, I've got all of the highest settings for both acceleration and deceleration, and that helps out this car a lot through the corners. It's a pretty good drifter as well, but it gets the job done. It's not too slippery by any means, and I've actually opted for a fairly centralized split compared to most. I would typically go for 75 or 80% for a supercar or a hypercar. This one's got 70, so if you find it to maybe be a little bit too heavy for your liking, then put it up to say 80% and give that a try instead. Don't be afraid to experiment with these tunes. So that's it for the setup. As I said, you can grab it from my storefront anyway, and there are far more tunes on my storefront than there are here on YouTube, so that's the place to go really if you want to grab them as well. But what you want to see is obviously this car in a race and how quick can it actually go. Now, as you'll see from this race itself, the car doesn't quite hit the benchmark of around 266, or technically just under, but it's one of those cars where it can do it. You just need a perfect run, basically. So the top speed isn't the highest thing out there anyway, but you can comfortably get up around 265, and the acceleration is fairly unique in as much as it doesn't really wheel spin off the line, and one of the reasons why is the 70% split on the diff. With the all-wheel drive, it just gets the job done. It rolls off the line, gets going, gets the job done, and it's extremely good for acceleration. Top end speed not so much, but let's be honest, the Huayra isn't among the absolute fastest cars in the world anyway for top speed, so it's not too surprising that it wouldn't be quite as strong as some others like Koenigsegg's, Hennessy's, Bugatti's, that kind of stuff. However, it's more than fast enough for most circumstances, very good handling as well, it's very nimble, and it's a fairly compact car by hypercar standards. So if you decide to grab it from my storefront or use this tutorial, I hope you enjoy the tune either way, and if you want to check out my others, of course follow my storefront in the game and click the playlist here on YouTube to see all of my other tunes. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.